हत्या नहीं सहेंगे। जब तक कानून का पालन नहीं होता, हम ये कह रहे हैं कि अगर आपको गांव हमारे चाहिए तो कानून का पालन करते हुए गांव खाली करिए।
बंदूक भी उठा सकते हैं इसके लिए तो हम।
In Madhya Pradesh's Chhatarpur, a massive protest has just been paused, but the anger behind it is very much alive. After nearly 2 weeks of continuous agitation, farmers and tribal communities affected by the Ken-Betwa River linking project have agreed to step back for now, giving the administration 10 days to respond to their demands. But this is not a resolution. It is a pause under pressure. And to understand why this matters, we need to look at what led to this point. The protests began on April 5th after repeated memorandums submitted by villagers failed to get any meaningful response from the administration. According to those leading the agitation, people had been raising concerns about compensation, rehabilitation, and displacement for a very long time, but were largely ignored. That is when the protests took shape, and it did not remain symbolic for long. Over the next several days, the agitation intensified in ways that are difficult to ignore. Protesters first lay down on funeral pyres, making a visual statement of desperation. Then came a hunger strike described as the Akash Andolan. This was followed by the Mitti Andolan, where villagers smeared soil from their land onto their bodies, and then the Jal Andolan, where they entered water to register their protest. At one stage, some protesters even stood with nooses around their necks, making it clear that they felt pushed to the edge. Their demand was clear: justice or nothing.
हम इसलिए प्रदर्शन कर रहे हैं कि ना हमको अच्छा मुआवजा मिला है, मकान कुछ नहीं मिला हमको। 5 लाख रुपए राशि दी, हम इतने में क्या कर सकते हैं आप बताइए। जमीन ले सकते कि अपने पेट में खा सकते कि मकान बना सकते हैं, इसलिए हम यहाँ आए हैं, जान देने के लिए आए हैं। 5वें दिन हो गए, कोई नहीं आता है, लौट जाता है वहाँ से, यहाँ कोई नहीं आता है। लेटे हुए हैं कि लिंक परियोजना वालों ने सभी हमारा खेत खलिहान और घर मकान जो भी था सब चला गया, कि लिंक परियोजना वालों ने छीन लिया हमारा। बिल्कुल, अब तो घर मकान भी गिराना शुरू कर दिया लिंक परियोजना वालों ने, तब काहे में रहेंगे। 3 बच्चे हैं हमारे, छोटे छोटे वो भी हैं। आषाढ़ में बोलते हैं अब घर खाली करो, कहाँ जाएं, कि भरोसे कहाँ फेरे। अब घर भी नहीं तो अब कहूँ बना पाए कि चलो पैसा मिले तो घर बना ले। नहीं दे रही शासन, कह रही तुम्हारा खत्म हो चुका है, अब जाओ यहाँ से, खाली करो।
हमारा घर परिवार जमीन सब कुछ छीना जा रहा है, लेकिन वहाँ हमारे कोई ना जानकारी दी जा रही है, क्या समस्या है क्या नहीं है। बिना बताए ही हम लोगों को वहाँ से भगाया जा रहा है।
हम मरते हैं, डरे हैं, नहा वहाँ फिरते हैं। हमारे गली गली हमारा राशन छीना जाता, हमारी जगह छीनी जाती, हमारे पैसा छीने जाते हैं, हमारे मारे फिर रहे हैं। सरकार हमारी सुनाई नहीं देती है, हमें गली गली छेकती है, क्या करेंगे हम।
It was only after this sustained pressure that the administration stepped in. Officials from the Chhatarpur district administration reached Dhondan village and held discussions with the protesters for nearly 4 to 5 hours. The talks involved multiple officials, including district-level authorities and representatives from neighbouring Panna district, since the impact of the project cuts across regions. Now, following this meeting, the administration made a series of assurances. They said fresh door-to-door surveys would be conducted in all affected villages. Camps would be set up at the local level and complaints related to compensation and rehabilitation would be reviewed individually. Officials also assured that no eligible person would be left out of the benefits and that discrepancies in earlier lists would be corrected. On the basis of these assurances, the protesters agreed to pause their agitation for 10 days. But they have also made it clear that if their concerns are not resolved within the time frame, the protest will return and it will be larger.
जब तक हमारी मांगे पूरी नहीं होगी तब तक तो हम लगे ही हैं, और जब तक मांगे पूरी नहीं होगी जब तक हम यहाँ से हटने वाले नहीं हैं। और ज्यादा ही करेगी तो हम नक्सली भी बन सकते हैं, बंदूक भी उठा सकते हैं इसके लिए तो हम।
दरअसल किसान आदिवासी महिलाएं यहाँ पर हजारों से ज्यादा चिता पे बैठी हुई हैं, क्योंकि हम लोग दिल्ली जा रहे थे, हमको दिल्ली नहीं जाने दिया गया। दिल्ली इसलिए हम लोग जा रहे थे क्योंकि हम लोगों के जल जंगल जमीन घर परिवार गांव सब कुछ छीना जा रहा है। उसके बदले में जो कानून भूमि अर्जन कानून 2013 उसका पालन नहीं किया जा रहा। ना तो हमारी ग्राम सभाएं हुई, ना हमको उचित मुआवजा दिया गया, ना पारदर्शी तरीके से सर्वे किया गया। जब भी हम लोग अपने हक अधिकार मांग रहे हैं तब हमको हक अधिकार की जगह हाका जा रहा है, डंडा दिखाया जा रहा है, भय दिखाया जा रहा है। हमको उचित मुआवजा पुनर्वास की तो बात दूर, हमको सूचना जानकारी तक नहीं दी जा रही। जब भी हम जानकारी मांग रहे हैं हमारी पर फर्जी केस लगाए जा रहे हैं, लाठीचार्ज किया जा रहा है। और हम लोगों ने सब कुछ कर लिया, हमने जल सत्याग्रह कर लिया, खून से पत्र लिख लिए, सांकेतिक फांसी लगा ली, भूख हड़ताल कर ली, हमको कभी न्याय नहीं मिला। दिल्ली जा रहे थे, दिल्ली भी नहीं जाने दिया गया। यहाँ पर धारा 144 लगा दी। हम लोग पन्ना से लेकर जब दिल्ली के लिए रवाना हुए तो हमको जगह जगह पुलिस ने जगह जगह प्रताड़ित किया। हमारा जो इकट्ठा राशन किया था हमने दिल्ली के आंदोलन के लिए, पूरा राशन छीन लिया गया, हमारे पैसे भी छीन लिए गए, जब तक कानून का पालन नहीं होता। हम ये कह रहे हैं कि अगर आपको गांव हमारे चाहिए तो कानून का पालन करते हुए गांव खाली करिए। सिर्फ बुलडोजर चलाते समय आपके कानून नहीं चलेगा, ग्राम सभा भी कानून में आती है, पुनर्वास भी कानून में आता है, पारदर्शी सर्वे भी कानून में आता है। उचित मुआवजा सरकार 786 आदिवासी के लिए कहती है, लेकिन कई डैम में जो है मनमाने तरीके से 5 लाख तक दिया जा रहा है, बिना उनके पुनर्वास किए, बिना उचित मुआवजा दिए ये फसलें जोती जा रही हैं, मकान गिराए जा रहे हैं, कई लोग सुसाइड कर चुके हैं, आत्महत्या कर चुके हैं।
Now, to understand why this conflict has escalated to this point, you have to look at the scale of the Ken Betwa project itself. This is not a small regional intervention. It is one of India's most ambitious river linking projects with an estimated cost of around 44,000 crore rupees. The plan is to transfer water from the Ken River in Madhya Pradesh to the Betwa River in Uttar Pradesh through a system of dams, canals and tunnels. And the government's argument is clear. This project is meant to address chronic water shortages in the Bundelkhand region, which has struggled for decades with drought, erratic rainfall and underdevelopment. Officials say it will irrigate over 1 million hectares of land, providing drinking water to more than 6 million people and generate power. Now on paper, this is a development story. But this is also where the problem starts. Because the benefits of the project are being measured at a regional level while the costs are being borne very locally. To build the dam and its reservoir, entire villages will be submerged. According to official estimates, more than 7,000 families will be affected. At least 10 villages could go completely underwater while several others will be displaced due to canal construction. Most of those affected belong to tribal communities, particularly the Gond and Kol groups, whose lives are deeply tied to land, forests and local ecosystems. For them, displacement is not just a logistical issue. It is the loss of livelihood, identity and long-term security. And then there is also the environmental impact. Nearly 98 square kilometers of the Panna Tiger Reserve, including core forest areas, are expected to be submerged. This is a reserve that had once successfully brought tigers back from near extinction. Environmental experts have also warned that this could undo years of construction work. There are also serious questions about the data and assumptions behind this project. Critics have pointed out that estimates of excess water in the Ken River are based on older data and may not reflect current realities. Some independent studies have even suggested that large-scale river linking could worsen water stress instead of solving it. Despite these concerns, the project moved forward. And this is where the disconnect becomes visible. Villagers say the compensation being offered is inadequate. Some claim that their homes and acres of their lands have been valued at amounts that are not enough to rebuild even basic housing. Others say they still do not know where they will be resettled or when they will have to leave. So what you're seeing here is not just resistance to development. It is resistance to a process that many feel is being imposed without clarity, without adequate consultation and without guarantees. The administration has now stepped in with fresh assurances, but the timing matters. Because these assurances have come after weeks of protest, not before. Which is why the 10-day pause is important but not decisive. The underlying conflict remains unresolved, and it raises a larger question that goes beyond this one project. Can development be called progress if it displaces the most vulnerable without giving them certainty about their future? Because in the end, projects like these are not just about water, infrastructure or growth. They are about choices, about whose interests are prioritized, and about who ends up paying the price.